Well, hello, this is Tamsin Denny. I'm back with the third series or teaching on this understanding spiritual roots. I was cut off. Thank you, Clark Pest Control. Yes, you can come by tomorrow. Anyhow, I'm going to keep pressing through and I'm going to get this done. So, anyways, we're talking about understanding the spiritual roots of rejection. And in that last video, video number 2, we were talking about science and theories and how science is actually now catching up with a lot of the truths that are found in God's Word. When I did some undergraduate study at Cal Poly University, my thesis studies was done on evolution versus creationism. Okay, and that went over like, a lot of the teachers there were liberal leaning and not born again, and so this paper kind of shook them, and they weren't in agreement with it, but I did it anyway. And it's a good paper. If you have the opportunity, it's on microfish at Cal Poly University San Luis Obispo, evolution versus creationism. You can look it up. Okay. Anyways, we're just beginning to understand how science is catching up with the truths found in God's Word. Much of science is simply based on theory, okay, or the human prognostical observation of what humans think. However, modern medical science and the study of the human body is proving God's Word to be true. Okay, intriguing, right? In my early years of undergraduate study in the field of biological sciences and anatomy, I began to search out the truths as was related to science. I'm going to get somewhere with this. We're going to talk next about roots of rejection and then what we can do about this. So let me get through this. Part of my testimony of coming to Christ in 1995 in my college year was finding that there were controversial beliefs, especially in the area of evolution. Okay, I began to say, hey, there's something not right, and I compared it to creation, the Bible. Okay. In preparation of my senior thesis, I began to research out the areas of botany, which is plant science, zoology, animal science, marine biology, astronomy, geology, genetics, the study of the human genome, plant, animal, and human, virology, the study of viruses, microbiology, chemistry, physics, the study of motion, things in motion, and anatomy, human, plant, and animal. Simple conclusion was, after all of this study, there's no possible way that the earth was created and everything in it from a simple Big Bang theory, right? Where am I going to go with this? Not all scientific deduction is spiritual truth. However, there are phenomenal scientific medical facts that have unlocked the majestic mystery of God's creation. That's simply fascinating. Recently, I became intrigued right now with the study of epigenetics. Epi means above, genetics, your genome, above your genetic material, your genes. Genetic markers within our human genome or DNA that can actually be directed by what we say, think, and do. Not all sickness and disease is derived, you guys, from satanic attack. Much of it comes from what we continually dwell on, which affects our chemical, neurological systems, and over a period of time, it affects our overall immune system and health. Okay? And I'm going to give you a few scriptures. So what you're constantly thinking about, what you're saying, what you're believing in your heart, actually affects your genes. It affects your genome. It affects your mind and your brain, because there's a chemical response that begins to attack or break down or subdue or hinder, okay, and turn off what God has meant for your body to heal okay, and to walk in fullness. All right. Hey, jot these scriptures down, okay, and this is the last portion of this video, and then I'll be back with the rest of it later. Okay, Proverbs 17:22. This is the reality behind the words that we speak. Just as God spoke everything into existence, we can also speak into existence a predestined outcome. Whatever you say, you're going to have, whether negative or positive. That goes into planting seeds, okay? Seed and harvest time, okay? We could put that into our body, and we can also speak it to other people, and that goes in, okay? We were created in God's image. Hey, write down Genesis 1:22, and I'll put these in the description of this video. God spoke, his words had power, and just as we speak, our words have power, okay? Also see James chapter 3, verses 8 through 14, Proverbs 18:21, Proverbs 10:19, all of these are referring to the tongue and words, and there's a whole lot more. You can do a study. With that, let's take a look into the main areas that can open us up for spiritual attack, sickness, and disease. Okay, again, acute means sudden. Chronic means long lasting over a period of time. We're talking about sickness and disease that may also be a cause of demonic influence, poor habits, poor lifestyle, sudden trauma, or accident. So a lot of the times people were always trying to blame the devil for everything, and the devil is not necessarily he can get you thinking this stuff, but you can take control over your thoughts and what you think and say and bring it down and under your feet and put the mind of Christ on, right? So sometimes, yes, sickness and disease can be just even caused by yourself. Your worry, your stress, your anxiety, it's affecting you, it's affecting your body, and it's affecting others around you, right? Okay, and we're talking about sickness and disease, also poor lifestyle habits, a sudden trauma, or an accident that may occur can be a result of disease or illness or infirmity in our body. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this one video, and I'm going to get into the actual roots of rejection. Okay, the roots of rejection and how that might have gotten into you and how you can be healed and set free from the pain of roots of rejection and isolation. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to get back to you with a video on the orphan mindset. All right. And I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.